forget the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me, you don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself.
Breaking up, all this static running through my blood. Again, why do you waste your light on me? Out of luck, can I keep my head above this time? Again, feeling the ground collapse on me. Blown around in a storm that only brings me down. Again, why does it feel so hard to breathe? Why does it feel so hard to breathe? So hard to breathe. Never found, but these voices bring me to my knees. Again, why do you waste your light on me? Again, feeling the ground collapse on me.
I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb at first, but I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I fear the worst.
I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, 'cause I gotta get to you. I would climb 1,000 mountains, swim across the darkest ocean, 'cause I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, 'cause I gotta get to you. I gotta get to you.
1974. I think I'm going insane. I'm feeling crazy. Can't get it out of my head. Oh no, if the devil inside takes hold, then I just might wind up dead. Wasted, face it. I'm never gonna be the one. Rockstar, you won't get far. But at least you had fun. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, a king or a queen, as long as you got a dream. Oh no, it's a lie. They just wanna take your life, try to tell you. Yeah. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How did I survive? Life's a battlefield. 1974.
Week 3 is upon us here as we are set to go for some more NECC action. With the spring season ahead of us, we know teams are revved to go. Lots of early week shenanigans and dusted, and now we get to see which teams are actually going to thrive who had just a little bit of a leg up. My name is Orbital. With me is the best minion to ever wander off the rift. It is Random Minion Caster, and we will be your casters for tonight's series. RMC, how are you feeling?
Well, Orbital, I'm feeling a little bit unsure of how these teams are performing right now. Because as you said, we're kind of starting to get into it a little bit. It is week 3. Normally, we'd have some games to look at. But our matchup for tonight comes from Division 2 Group East B. And unfortunately, in this group, there was a team that's been, I think, dropped out or forfeiting left and right. So our matchup tonight is University of Florida Club Blue, who have played one series in the season and had one forfeit win, up against Dalhousie University Black, who has just played 2 series, one of which they actually just played this week as well. So a bit of a rush coming through from both these teams. As you can see, rosters there for both these teams. We'll start with UF Club Blue with Bacon Lips
Hold on,
in the top lane.
I think we I think we lost RMC there for half a second. Okay, he's back. Listen, the rift was a little bit too much for him. The rift was a bit too much. We haven't gotten him fully here. Let's run through the rosters real quick. As you were saying, RMC, though, this is University of Florida Club Blue. They're running Bacon Slips, Evil, Solo Q, Victim. We have Jeff God Gamer. We have Mooncake, Dilly Dally for Dalhousie University Black. We got Hyena Wolf, Bella Lugosi, as well as Tax and T. And for Dalhousie University Black, they have an amazing story heading in to the spring 2026 season. Huge step up for them.
Yeah, and for the Dalhousie University Black team, they are kind of newcomers to Division 2. Their team, this exact same roster, by the way, was just playing in Division 4 East just last split back in, what was it, fall? And yeah, they made it all the way to the grand finals, didn't quite win it, fell just shy. But overall, in the break they've had through the summer, they've been leveling up, and now they are in Div 2 to kick things off. Along with Dalhousie Black as well, was actually the sister team Dalhousie Gold, who also is now in Div 2. They got promoted from Div 3, but yeah, Dalhousie as a university right now in League of Legends, really popping off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what more that they can do over the year. For them, I am very much at their mid lane. I know you would talk to them, and I talked to them a little bit too. That area, their mid lane, really are looking to shine forward to from Div 4. Now, of course, when it comes to, though, it is a massive step up. And when we think about Div 2, we know that University of Florida Club Blue have been here for quite some time. They have been up and down in those ladder ranks, but they have been here very comfortably. Some consider them veterans here when playing against teams and
Yeah.
showing the new kids on the block the ropes is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and the University of Florida, I think as a whole in esports, they've been around for a while. League of Legends, especially, I mean, we've cast the orange University of Florida quite a few times as well. So definitely a difference here in the NECC. Club Blue specifically, they were here in Div 2, you know, they kind of know the rules. And I think their average sort of elo in general has been on the higher side of things. I think they're averaging a D3 right now in Div 2, which is a level that is going to give a lot of challenge. So Dalhousie University Black, welcome. And they're right up against a giant kind of right from the get-go. So tonight, a bit of a challenge coming Dalhousie University Black up against University of Florida Club Blue, sort of the stalwarts and veterans here.
Yeah, I'm going to be very, very scared of what comes next here, mainly because this series is going to be that testing ground. I think you and I were kind of talking about it a little bit, and it's going to be kind of that situation of meeting of the minds, as we mentioned. As we are waiting for teams, I believe, fully get through the draft and give us a taste of what's to come here. I am at that mid. Jeff God Gamer, someone that is only a mage player, but is returning for the squad here. 3 in terms of ranking style match. And then also in the top side, you yourself were kind of looking at Bacon Slips as this person that has returned 4 years now for University of Florida Club Blue, being that masterclass, being that kind of mind up on the top side. So when you look at someone like Hyena Wolf, who is coming in here, maybe a little bit weaker from Div 4 to Div 2, it's a big question mark if they're going to be able to step up to the task that Bacon Slips is going to give them.
And that's why we kind of talked about the fact that University of Florida Blue in general is such a strong team, mechanically, individually as well. Bacon Lips and Evo Solo Q Victim, they're Master and Grandmaster respectively. So this top half of the map for University of Florida, very, very strong mechanically. And they can both be carries. In fact, Evo Solo Q Victim, he calls himself a victim. I don't know if I believe that. He plays things like Gwen, Echo, Zed, Nafiri in the jungle. Like, this guy is a carry in the jungle. And with Bacon Lips on the top side, they often can blow a game up from that top side. So up against Hyena Wolf, Dalhousie University uses Hyena Wolf as sort of a weak side rock in the top lane. He doesn't have to win his lane. He just has to anchor that top side. And so that gold 2 rank, we've seen this happen before. It's not reliable. Sure, we're not expecting him to crush the lane. He doesn't need to. He just needs to nullify that lane as much as possible. Now, for Dalhousie Black, though, because they're weak-siding their top side, they've got to have a strength somewhere else. And you got to look at their bot and their mid lanes. Bot lane, Tax and T, they call them the heart and soul of this team. And you know what? It's really funny because when we ask them how confident are you, a lot of them are referencing the bot lane. They have great confidence that the bot lane will not throw, which I think says a lot about how that bot lane can go. It can carry the other team sometimes. We'll see how it goes, but they have faith that tonight they should be fine. Their mid laner area, they call him Faker almost. Like, this is the guy they're looking at. He smashes every lane. And you mentioned Jeff God Gamer a little bit. It's worth noting, Jeff God Gamer is D3. So on paper, up against Area who's Masters, bad matchup. But I've been told that Jeff God Gamer was only allowed to start playing solo queue last week by his wife. So the fact that he's D3 with only 1 week of solo queue, I think, the rank might not be accurate for that University of Florida Blue mid laner.
All right, listen, it's a very large mouthful for either of us to say, so we're going to say University of Florida Club Blue going up against Dalhousie Black. We'll see what they can throw down here and give us the best of what for. It will be Club Blue sitting on that blue side to start things off, and they already went for that Jace ban. Now, the Syndra ban is a little bit surprising. Syndra actually just got tuned down a little bit, but that might be targeted very directly at Area being a little bit more controlling in that factor, so I like that. But on the flip, the Aphelios, which was also gently nerfed here, seen as still a primary carry in the bot side, with a Hecarim jungle banned away. A little bit surprising at a lot of these targeted bans on either end.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. I wonder if we actually have the names swapped right now, because Bella Lugosi is actually the big Hecarim player, and he's the Dalhousie jungler. So that almost feels like a ban that they'd want to, that UF Blue would want to kind of pick out. So I suspect that the graphics might be flipped. We'll see, whether or not we get that.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So it is flipped. That makes a lot more sense, because Aphelios, Hecarim, these are champions that Dalhousie Black is known for. Whereas, it does make sense for UF Blue to just kind of be, or pardon me, it doesn't make sense for Dalhousie banning their own champions. For now, though, Dalhousie just going with the Ashe first pick. So that explains a lot to me, Orbital. They were saying that we don't worry about Tax and T throwing. Well, that's why. They picked the stable bot laner, and Ashe, who's going to be able to just kind of coast through lane. Even if you're not crushing it, you can still play that supportive role.
Yeah, we'll see what you can hold on to here, but the answer in turn from Club Blue is going to be the Echo and the Caitlyn. Long range, pick potential. This is very much a style that they are hoping to pick on this bot lane whenever you see the Ashe come out. So I like what they drafted so far. On the flip though, just go with the Fairlord, go with the Cold, go with the Winter's Bite. Just grab a Braum as well. Screw it. Go the entire Fairlord squad and see what you can bring out to the table.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't hate it. I think it just gives you a really, again, solid base on your bot side to be able to play through, but then that puts a lot of pressure on Area to be your primary carry at that point. For now, we do see the Volibear being picked up, most likely in the jungle. Can be a bit of a carry jungler, especially with the sort of Dawn and Dusk build that has been coming through. And Ahri for Area. So that's a really strong, solid blind pick in the mid lane. I wonder if they think the Echo is a mid lane, and so they wanted something a bit more mobility. That Echo is most likely going to the jungle for Evo solo queue victim. And we see the Mel being picked up, a champion that, I don't want to say she got gutted, but did get nerfed a little bit on the last few patches.
Yeah, let's see what they can play here. The Mel at the end, though, and of course, now we're looking into the second round of bans. You can see the Seraphine now targeted a little bit more into that supportive role at the very base. So is it going to be enough is my big question. Are these targeted sides? And there's an Olaf. I like it. Hey, look, I don't want to deal with that one at the end of the day. I don't want to deal with an Olaf running through my back line. But it's a test, right? You're looking at that top side for one side and then the bottom side, that support role for the other. The Milio to round on out, say, will punt them away. No longer. You cannot do that with the Ashe Milio setup.
Yeah, and for the Halsey support, T, he's actually more of an engaged player, or so I've been told, but he's been trying to learn the Enchantress because that's what's been more meta. And while Enchantress work really well with the Ashe, you named the Braum earlier. I think tank supports have a place here for Dalhousie Black if they so want to, if they want to kind of lean towards that. Buy the space for Ashe to be that hyper carry in late games. For now, though, Aatrox being picked up for UF Blue, and we're talking about carries for Bacon Lips. Well, this is a massive carry, especially if you're able to lock down the enemy team. I'd love to see some sort of AoE CC to be able to kick things off for UF Blue here.
Yep. Of course, I am liking the Mbessa, and finally, we need to see what this blind pick is going to be. The junglers have kind of been left to their own devices. Actually, the supports taking a look at the bot side, really clean it up with the Braum. 3 out of the 5 for a nice little piece of that Freljord once more. I was joking about it, but it does make sense in the back end. You have a lot of projectiles coming towards you. Now, is it going to be enough to slow them down truly? No, it's not, because you go for the Alistar and save for Club Blue. Hey, we're just going to say, screw it. We're going to beat you into the ground. We're going to knock you up. You're not going to go anywhere. And that Braum isn't, or the Braum isn't going to be able to save you when you're in the air, when you are fully CC'd into Oblivion.
Yeah, we've been seeing this sort of tank support matchups for the large part of 2025-2024. So very common matchup that we're going to see. It's a lot more about just how you're playing around the rest of the fight rather than the support matchup itself. What really caught my eye, Orbital, was actually the Mbessa for Hyena Wolf. Well, actually, I shouldn't jump the gun, because Mbessa can technically go in the jungle and Volibear can technically go into top lane, but I'm assuming it's a Volley jungle and Mbessa top lane. If it is an Mbessa top lane, this is not a traditional weak side top laner. Like, you pick Mbessa to be a carry, you don't pick it to just nullify a lane. So in a game 1 in a best of 3 like this, big call coming through from Dalhousie.
All right, well, we'll see if they can pull it off here. Dalhousie really sending an early message here, I think, to the side of Club Blue. I like what they chose, and remember, I think we're in Fearless here, so it means once you bring out some of these signatures, it's kind of all on that table, and I love the stylization that they've gone for. Bacon Slips and Hyena Wolf, I expect them to go pretty heavy up there. I mean, this is the Mbessa versus Aatrox. We've seen it a million times in there. My eyes are also drawn into that mid lane, though. We've seen Mel actually have massive changes as of recently, and a lot of people have actually said Mel feels a lot weaker. You don't have the projectile reversal, and so it does break apart projectiles, but when you look at the Ahri versus Mel matchup RMC, do you actually like this pickup, considering it was a counterpick? The Mel was counterpicked for this Ahri.
Yeah, sure, you don't bounce the projectiles quite as much, but you can still nullify them, so it's still going to get good use into the Ashe. Ahri as well, the laning phase. Mel's laning is actually really, really strong. And in fact, she used to be quite oppressive as a sort of early mid-game champion to come through. Matches the Ahri spikes quite well and actually answers everything Ahri wants to do. So Ahri wants to be proactive. And Mel just kind of ignores a lot of that. So the Mel on paper still is good, still does work out. She's just not as strong counter as she used to be. And frankly, for UF Blue, when I look at this draft they've drafted, Orbital, I'm not seeing Jeff God Gamer as the big carry for the team necessarily. I think his job is to shut down the opposing team's carry. Let Bacon Lips be the big carry with the Aatrox. Let Mooncake and Dilly Dally in that bot side really take over. The Caitlyn that we didn't really touch on, she's very lane dominant as well. And if she gets an early lead, she can really set up Evil Solo Q Victim to be ganking down the bot side, popping people, even with an Ash Bomb, the sheer amount of CC they have. If you're low on health, Echo can just brute force that.
Let's see if they can do so right now. This is going to be the 3.5. On to map number 1. We got Dalhousie on the blue and Club Blue in the red. We got everything sorted out at least. And we got Dilly Dally dancing his heart out on the Phaelites. Phaelites always a nice little addition. As a meeting of the minions now colliding, we see a lot of your cousins down there repping out the blue and red RMC, which I truly do appreciate. Minute underway, and junglers starting on opposite sides right now. A little bit of a slower start for Evil Solo Q Victim, not going straight for the bus.
Yeah, I love that we got the overlays fixed now, as you mentioned, but it's gonna probably throw me off, and I'm probably gonna get them switched up because UF Blue is on red side, so blue's on red. Thankfully, it's not red on blue, it is black on blue, and that will be fine. In the bot side, Dilly Dally, you kind of mentioned he was like dancing off, enjoying himself for there. It is worth noting, Dilly Dally is actually an AD carry main. He's swapping to support to allow UF Blue to have Mooncake as an AD carry. So, I feel a little bit, props to any player who's willing to swap for the team. Huge for Dilly Dally. But also, I'm expecting Mooncake, to step up a little bit. And the Kate Ash matchup is a little bit interesting. Kate is very lane oppressive, but Ash is actually one of the traditional counters to her because your volley outranges a lot of the Caitlyn auto attacks. And sure, put over Peacemaker, that has a lot of range. But being as linear as it is, it's a lot harder to land than that widespread volley.
Oh, well, it's a tough little spot to be in. The volley can always do some work, but maybe not too much. Mooncake's taken a little bit of a step back. Early recall coming out of Evil Solo Q, though, cleared the bot side, immediately rotated up. And not only that, recognizing that, hey, there might have been some shenanigans. Bella Lugosi went in, looks like they stole away one of those Raptor camps. It is now situated on the far end, so very clean play from from the side of Bella Lugosi, saying, we're going to keep this pressure up. We got to put this Echo behind and then utilize that to kind of jump on in. T and Tax, though, the squad that you were talking about, this bot lane duo, make sure to press this wave up very, very high. Maybe look to help rotate if there's an invade to be tried.
Yeah, and for now, I think Mooncake and Dilly Dally are holding that just fine in that bot side. Top side's getting a little low on health.
Ooh. Nice little hyena wolf, though, did not enjoy that health chunk.
Okay, and this bot side now has, unfortunately for Mooncake and Dilly Dally, actually bounced away. They were doing a good job holding that wave. I'm curious if Bella Lugosi tries to go for that flank angle, try and get the burst down. Sure, Mooncake and Dilly Dally are full health. I don't think they're going to die, but you might be able to blow a summoner or two. And I do appreciate what Bella Lugosi did with the initial invade as well, because that shows game knowledge, knowing that, hey, Echo Jungle, not something you see a lot, but he's not that strong in the early game in terms of being able to duel out. He can burst down, and that's what they're looking for with this push.
And I mean, that's an easy dive underneath, but you still get first blood! And almost 2 for 1 behind as Hyena Wolf gets a free first kill. And for Dalhousie, you're like, that's great.
You see, here's the thing about Hyena Wolf. We already said he's the weak side rock. Now, the focus isn't on weak side, it's on rock. And trying to swallow rocks does not end well for you. And Bacon Lips, unfortunately, got a little bit too greedy. He didn't have the wave with him. It got thinned out. And look, I'm sure Evil Solo Q Victim saying, hey, we can do this, we can burst. But Evil Solo Q Victim didn't draw the aggro. He needed to be the one taking the initial aggro. Instead, Bacon Lips gives over first blood and kind of nullifies that early gank.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough point to watch for Club Blue, and now they have to go back to the drawing board because Evil Solo Q Victim has also now recognized that you're a little bit behind pacing as well. So Bella Lugosi already getting a lot of that farm built up. You went ahead and recalled, and you're also going for a little bit of early Dusk and Dawn build. You're going to be an annoyance there. So rest of the squads we get to watch as Club Blue starting to say how we're going to either bounce back or still take advantage, because they still do have a 300 gold lead. It's not like that top side dive has completely wrecked them.
Oh, and I don't think they're necessarily in a rush. Oh, the constant aggression area is not 6 yet.
No one decides to flash forward. I love this call. Area hits level 6 off of it too, and you level up to level 6. No way. That's so dirty. Poor evil solo queue victim did not get the rebuttal kill.
And the hype is real. This is why Dalhousie Black was hyping up the mid laner, saying that, you know, if there's a player you're going to watch our mid lane, because that was so incredibly clean. Topside, Hyena Wolf barely able to break the tether.
Oh, no way!
Execution.
Another level 6 outplay! Hyena Wolf does the same! RMC! What's this Tallahassee squad doing right now? They're looking beautiful. Another dive to the bot side. A little bit auto attack left.
Oh,
That attack's to take it! Tallahassee they're dancing on the tight wire.
All across the map, every single lane orbital. And look at it, dude. It's just beautiful. A 1v2 from Area, a 1v1 from Hyena Wolf, and in the bot side, a beautiful gank from Bella Lugosi onto Taxing T, which has been perma-pressuring. You're asking, what is UF Blue doing? Oh, but they're kind of floundering. We talked about how they are a D2 average. Their mechanics was not where we were expecting them to necessarily falter. But instead, Dalhousie out of nowhere, lower ranks, doesn't matter. They did their homework. They've done their prep. And they know how to play together as a team. And all of this is not even the scariest part of this team. The fact that they're winning is just kind of icing on the cake. What I was more concerned about or more looking forward to was how they're going to be able to play out the mid game. And if they get an early lead, it just makes the mid game that much easier to execute.
I'm just so flabbergasted. Those are like 2 to 3 major like solo QS moves. Hey, I'm just gonna die with my ult, or I'm gonna flash. Like, these can be very critically bad choices, but just in the mental choices, just saying, I know the limits of my champions. I highly appreciate what Dalhousie are going for. And you called it floundering. I gotta agree. Club Blue now have to really find their way back. Yes, they're not that far down in gold, but they don't know that. And you're sitting there going, what has this actually led to in terms of this early stage? Because now you can even see Hyena Wolf more than willing to dance in that top side 1v1.
Well, to a certain degree, you're right that they can't see the gold overall, but what they can see is actually the CS numbers. And that's the reason why I said it was floundering a little bit for UF Blue, because I don't think that they're necessarily losing out or that they are not the better side of the trades. If you look at the CS across the board, they're still winning in all their lanes. Heck, even in the mid lane, where Area was the one we were expecting to win out, he's still doing fine. Hyena Wolf taking a beating. Worth noting, Hyena Wolf does not have teleport available. Area rotating up to try and relieve some pressure.
And it looks like they're going to be spotted on the ward as well. What a nice snipe on the back end, though, because Area is in the region. Megan Slip just might not want to give the extra. An arrow from cross the map as insurance, and that is heavy investment to keep Hyena Wolf alive.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. There was nowhere for Bacon Lips to kind of get out in. Great collapse coming from Dalhousie. But evil solo queue victim, the one guy who hasn't really suffered too much, except for that early invade, he instantly makes the call to go for this Dragon. Mooncake rotating up as well. So UF Blue kind of playing the long pawn a little bit right now. They know that they've fouled up their laning, and while they're trying to stabilize things, they're also keeping an eye on the skilling to make sure that they can match in the mid to late. The late game for this composition from UF Blue is actually really, really strong. There's a lot of damage to come through, and because I suspect we're not going to see Bella Lugosi go tank, they should be okay. Bella?
Decided to dance inside of enemy territory and did not enjoy that one. Had to flash away, but now getting caught on the back end.
He's
There's
not getting
no way
out.
you are safe. Quick execution from the Jeff God Gamer themselves. As now the mid laners are getting kills on either side.
A little bit greedy from Bella Lugosi. He had the flash
Only a
available.
little.
Kind of thought he was getting out. Mooncake.
Oh, I like it. Flash barrier, both up, but you're stunned almost into oblivion, and that's just understanding you are dead to rights. Grant's attacks was taken quite low, but still another kill to Dalhousie.
Yeah, again, it feels like UF Blue just mechanically making a couple of mistakes we wouldn't necessarily expect from them in the critical clutch moments. Now, again, Orbital, it feels like the fact that, okay, UF Blue messing up their lanes a little bit, but look at what they're doing while all this is happening. They get the pick onto Bella Lugosi. Evil solo queue victim going to rotate onto these grubs right away as well. So UF Blue are still keeping up in the objective department for now. It's just whether or not they can actually convert those objectives to anything, and vice versa. The question of Dalhousie is, okay, you got all these lane leads now. They're kind of unexpected gifts, I feel like. Yeah, they probably did expect that they'd do well. I don't know if they expected to do this phenomenally well. Arrow goes shy just a little bit again. And can Dalhousie now translate that into the potent mid game that we're expecting from this squad that has worked together for so long? They played the entirety of last split together again. They went all the way to the grand finals, dominated Division 4. So I'm expecting them to have that teamwork ready to go.
That'd be the treat, right? Bringing that team coordination in, saying, guys, we can play at any level here. For Dalhousie, that would be the mainstay play. And Of course, you'd also like to outhand your opponent, as that's the call of the World Ender. A little bit surprising, as Bacon Slips is going to use everything in the arsenal, but can't find the kill instead. So Bacon Slips losing out on the ult, and Hyena Wolf didn't even burn Flash.
Nope, and now Hyena Wolf has public execution as well to teleport ready to go when they get back into lane. I think that's why we're actually seeing Jeff God Gamer roam up to this top side there, looking to try and get some bait, go and maybe have a bit of a trap. Evil solo queue victim, I think, was spotted, but doesn't know area's there.
Yeah, now having to kind of jump away. Saw him in the tri-brush, good damage back, but I mean, that's only to shy away from this bot side invade. So Dalhousie starting to get a little bit bold in their endeavors into enemy territory for Club Blue. This Echo hasn't really lifted off the ground just yet.
Nor am I really expecting it to. It would have been really nice for Evil solo queue victim if that upside dive had gone off according to plan, especially if he gets the first blood from it. But even without, then what you're kind of doing is you're sitting back and waiting for that first item power spike to come through before you really start to play very aggressively. And that's why I was saying for UF Blue, they just need to stabilize things. The early game, that was more about Jeff God Gamer and Mooncake, if they can get ahead, and I think they've done their jobs. If not, they're waiting for the power spike more from Bacon Lips and Evil solo queue victim.
Well, Evil solo queue victim trying to find another victim on the top side. Hyena Wolf has pushed in this wave dramatically, but there is no ult from Bacon Slip. Instead, the bot side is actually where we're watching. It was a gank for gank. Remember, when you throw a strike, always make sure to protect your flank area with the bot side gank. Gives the kill over, and poor Mooncake is just not having a good time.
Yeah, and it feels like it's a 2v, like, in terms of ganking and jungling, it feels like you're facing two junglers on the side of Dalhousie, just because Area has been roaming so efficiently. Public execution, Bacon Lips! He got cooked!
Oh, Hyena Wolf did that because you saw Evil solo queue victim leave on your ward.
Yeah.
This is Dalhousie playing the perfect vision game, it feels like.
Yeah, and again, for Bacon Lips, like, he's now 1-4-1. And look, I get a couple of slip-ups earlier, but we talked about needing to stabilize your lanes. Bacon Lips is still up a ton of CS, but he's not really stabilizing his lane. Hyena Wolf is getting fed, and we talked about this when Hyena Wolf was supposed to be the weak side rock. Well, he's going to be a strong side king at the rate he's going. 3-1-1, already a huge threat. And for Dalhousie, they do need more threats. With Area getting ahead, that's going to be good. But taxing down the bot side, well, the 2-on-1 certainly helps. But Ashe is more of a supportive AD carry. So having that sort of tertiary damage source coming through from Hyena Wolf is huge.
Not just that. I mean, you're making Bacon slip on his bacon grease. That's how rough it's looked on this top side. It's slip up here and there, and the fact that Area has also had such phenomenal macro rotations out. This is like the first time we've actually seen Jeff God rotate out, and it feels like they're so late into this territory because Area has joined everywhere. Now it's almost a full dive on the top side, and this time they do get the kill. Really nice pickup, but it's an exhaustive amount of resources poured into that top side. If they get the tower, I think it's very worth. Ping's going down, though, because Dalhousie are doing what Evil solo queue victim did last time, which is fly straight for that dragon after a topside fight.
And I love that we finally get to see what they were looking for on that top side with Bacon Lips, because they've gone back multiple times, and while it's the first time we see Jeff God Gamer actually fully commit to the gank, he has roamed up to that top lane a couple of times. Evil solo queue victim has roamed up a couple of times looking for some of those trades and just couldn't make it happen. But when they get there, when the CC comes through, you can see how quickly they can pop the Mbessa, and I'd love to see them convert that somewhere else. Well, Charm lands through.
Oh, what a flash, and now a cut off of the tower. It's a great dive by Bella Lugosi, as that'll be another kill. Top side, though, Macro leaning into Club Blue's side, as Bacon Slips has been able to recoup a lot of the earlier deaths and gets first tower.
Okay, so again, great rotations coming from Dalhousie. Again, teamwork is showing a lot more, but when I'm looking at gold differences, 400 gold, and we've been at this gold difference for a while now this game. If anything, the gold gap actually has been slowly creeping in UF Blue's favor, and it looks like they're about to stabilize. Next thing I'm looking at is Evil solo queue victim's first item completion. He's already got kind of 2 components, and it shouldn't be too far off from first items to come through. And for Dalhousie, they've got a small item spike now. I need to see them push it. So far, they've been in their lanes, all good and well, but they were the ones to lose first brick.
Yep, it's a rough spot. And I mean, for Dalhousie, maybe you're not overly worried about it. You got your gold, you figured that one death. Hey, it did hit at the right time for Bacon Slips and Evil Solo Queue Victim.
Ooh.
However, this one is a whole different story. Hyena Wolf trying to run away, but there's only so far you can go. You do not have flash. You're going to try and snipe, but you land straight into the stasis. Evil Solo Queue Victim said, I am not just a victim, I know how to survive. Well played on that kill.
Hey, that's the moment you play that. It was at this moment Hyena Wolf realized. Yeah, because he was fine, but the perfect placement from the parallel convergence from Evil Solo Queue Victim just to make sure that, hey, yeah, you're going to be there in area with a beautiful trap.
It is, but the damage is actually a little bit nullified, and it's allowed the rest of the team to actually come on in. Glacial Fissure to slow down Mooncake, but Jeff God Gamer is away. Now you can just kind of pump out this damage on the far end. Unbreakable Will, though, is going to be put into the paces, but that's Evil Solo Queue Victim to just rush on in. You are now slowed up, and guess what? You got that Chrono Break straight back to safety. Bella Lugosi is able to take a chomp out of the opponent, but it's still looking like Jeff God Gamer is coming out of that mid lane hibernation. Slipping on down, but Bella Lugosi at least able to make it a triple, but it's a 4 for 3 at the end of the day. Bloody, bloody jungle fight.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Orbital. I thought mooncakes were more of a autumn festival thing rather than a Lunar New Year treat. But mooncake looking like a bit of a snack over there, surviving that fight. 0-2 and 4, unfortunately. I'm actually surprised Mooncake somehow didn't get the kill credit from Bella Lugosi, but this Caitlyn is kind of still doing her own thing. Normally, this is where Caitlyn starts to fall off after that sort of one-item power spike, but they're still strong for now. I think a big part for Dalhousie in that fight was the fact that Area ended up dropping early, didn't get the kill that they were looking for on Jeff God Gamer, and because of that, Dalhousie didn't quite have the damage they needed to close that out, but it was so incredibly close.
Yeah, I mean, for Area, you went for that Blackfire Torch, which is actually the same that we saw from Jeff God Gamer, which is actually the burn that gave the kill over. It's that slight little tweak that maybe you expected a bit more damage to come out because of how fed you were, because you had 2 extra kills earlier, but it's just, you don't actually have that extra damage behind. It doesn't hurt as much. Now, if El Lugosi was there earlier, maybe that would have been the big difference. However, we cannot sit on the backs of what was in the past. We have to look towards that future that both teams are looking at. We have that Herald up and available. Dragon will be up in a minute and a half. Big global objectives for either team to aim for.
Yeah, both junglers now with items completed. And I love the fact that you kind of talked up Bella Lugosi as well, because he was the big threat. And right at the end there, if not for that flash from Mooncakes, Bella Lugosi probably would have taken both Jeff God Gamer and Mooncakes down. But right now, UF Blue feeling that they're in a better position. They were actually fighting even when they were down gold. Now that they're up gold a little bit, they want to put their stamp onto the map. Surely Dalhousie knows that they're in the Herald area. I think they actually caught the vision being cleared, but they've opted instead to go for this outer turret, and I like the call. Dalhousie, they're ahead of the curve right now.
They are for the moment, but can they burn through Dilly Dally's HP? Unbreakable Will being used. Bacon Slips trying to jump in the middle, but this is going to be a 5v5 in the mid, and it looks like for Club Blue, they don't want to take that chance. Don't want to burn the World Ender. They don't want to force anything with the Unbreakable Will down, so they will back away and give way for Dalhousie to look over at this Herald, but it is being done on vision.
But that's fine. Dalhousie knows that your support's super low. They're not going to be comfortable trying to get in there. And they also watched Evil Solo Queue Victim path towards the bot side. So as long as Hyena Wolf is holding that mid lane, they'll be able to see if there's any sort of flank angle or attempt at a steal to come through from the enemy Echo. And I really like the map rotation from Dalhousie there, making the call. Even if they lose Herald, they're fine with it. This, if they can find Jeff God Gamer, would be huge.
Oh, I love this turnaround. The Unbreakable Wall is actually put up in time, but both supports do go down. However, the Eclipse barely gets anything. Quick step to the back line, though, and this time it's Mooncake. They get slammed into the ground. This is the Volibear eating good for the moment, but Bacon Slips says it's way worse than that. Now is the power of Club Blue as they chomp down on their opponents. Evil Solo Queue Victim as well as Jeff God Gamer making a big win behind Bacon Slips as Dragon will fall to their favor.
Well, I guess there's a reason why they call it World Ender Orbital. Things were going good till Bacon Lips got there and started popping that out. For huge props, and Bacon Lips was the guy who was down 1-4-1 as well. Yeah, he was up plenty of CS, but we didn't really get to see him dominate the 1v1 matchup too much. And then in this fight, he shows up, and he was the big difference maker. Completely zoned up both area and tax. So for Dalhousie, it was Bela Lugosi and Hyena Wolf diving in. Hyena Wolf got in there early, softened them up. But when Bela Lugosi went to blow them up and finish things off, he wasn't able to find all those carries, and his backup never quite arrived. And just like that, UF Blue, I think, getting the first significant lead of the game. 2.5 thousand gold in their favor. Dragon in their pocket. Skillen's looking good, and Bacon Lips is becoming a bigger and bigger split push through.
I mean, take a look here. This is a whole difference that we see from the top side. Hyena Wolf gonna try and duke it out. Level 14 versus level 13, though. I don't know if you fully want this. Neither has old Bacon Lips had it up just a mite later, but still both walk away limping in the end.
Yeah, that execution is Colin doing a lot of work there for Hyena Wolf to make that trade as even as it was. To be fair, Bacon Lips was also distracted by trying to take that turret earlier on, which he did manage to do, and continues growing that gold lead. So for Dalhousie, the map is opening up. This is a bit of a mixed blessing for them, if you will. Given what they showed us in the sort of early laning phase with the rotations and how good they were at manufacturing those picks, a bigger, wider map like that gives them more chances to go for those picks. The unfortunate part was it did come at the cost of gold, and that does mean they will be behind a little bit in whatever fight they opt for. Next, Dilly getting caught out a little bit, but does bait out the Glacial Fissure.
Ooh, not just that. I mean, you're looking for a bit more dilly-dally. I mean, these are the supports, though. Granted, they're just constantly throwing ults at each other, and it's just like, all right, let's see what sticks. But space taken. Remember, you saw dilly-dally quite low. You can go ahead and scout out a little bit of that hawk shot. An area just kind of skill checking inside of that brush, seeing what extra damage can be thrown down here. Meanwhile, on the bot side, we're still seeing Hyena Wolf try their best to hold off against Bacon Slips, who will continuously be pushing into enemy territory if given the opportunity.
And for Hyena Wolf, his job right now is to go back to being that weak side rock rather than the strong side king. As long as he can hold Bacon Lips away from doing too much turret damage, that's his job kind of done. Bacon Lips, though, trying to find a bit more. Arrow finds him out of nowhere.
Ah, I love this, by the way. Tax has consistently just been throwing out those arrows. There's no magic happening around the map. Might as well try and make it happen with a long-range arrow. The problem now, though, is you don't really have that immediate firepower, and now you're just lost in the sauce. Quick catch here with an ace and a hole in the back end. Tax tries to be saved, but tea time is no longer, and this is just Club Blue running down the Country Club members. No tea for you. It is Club Blue all the way. Now, top side, being caved in here by Dalhousie. They're able to get one tower, but they can't get much more than that.
Well, they've got to try and get out is the bigger problem. Bacon Lips is just trying to slow them down. Perfect timing on those recalls from Dalhousie to get out clean. But Baron is on the menu, and with Tax and T dead, I don't see a good way for Dalhousie to contest this. Bela Lugosi, is he going to go for the sweet side mission?
I don't even think you're going to have time. You can see how quickly he's being burned down here with 4 members on top. Extra damage output with that 3-proc strike from the Echo. We forget how strong Club Blue currently is, or at least I did. I didn't expect them to rip that as soon as they saw 2 go back and they killed 2 on the bot side. But yeah, that's 4 gone. No worries about it. Really quick Baron take. That's 5 members strong. You can push that into a couple extra plates if you wish before the upcoming Dragon in about 1 minute and 15.
Yeah, and for UF Blue, we got to remember how the sequence of events started, right? It was that blind arrow that came through from Tax, and I was really impressed that Tax actually found out Bacon Lips in that bot side, because I don't think they actually had vision of it. Like, they had a good guess of where he'd be based on a ward that had revealed he had walked towards that top side, but I don't think they actually knew for a fact. Unfortunately, it actually comes back to bite them, because without the arrow, Tax wasn't safe, and there really wasn't any kill threat onto Bacon Lips. So as soon as that happened, Evil Solo Q was like, well, okay, bet, we can dive. We know you're not there. We saw the Herald drop top, and most importantly, we know Bela Lugosi isn't there to protect you, and that means your squishy little Tax Ash. Well, you know what they say about death and taxes? They kind of go hand in hand, one way or another.
That is true, and we're only seeing in the late game when you forget about paying your taxes and you get audited. That's what this feels like. Bacon Lit slips over this side. Quick tag, Glacial Fissure is able to slow them down, and they are able to walk away. But Tax, oh Tax, you don't like this one at all. Ace in the hole plus an extra auto into the Eclipse. There's your tax paid and then some. Well played by Club Blue.
And that's going to secure them the third Drake of their third Drake of the game. So point with 0 contest. Area having to blow the Spirit Rush that early as well means, yeah, there's effectively no way unless Bela Lugosi wants to coin flip it. And with Baron in UF Blue's pocket, you would lose a lot. Even if you got the dragon, you would probably lose maybe even an inhibitor turret for your Pains. Bela Lugosi now looking for a gank. The first I feel like we've seen in a while.
I mean, the ganks can be difficult when all the lanes are kind of pressed out, and there's a very dangerous World Ender here because that bacon slips, demolishing poor Volibear. No chance for Bela Lugosi, and Hyena Wolf has to run mid lane. We're even seeing Area not be able to stay either. This is full on Club Blue saying, welcome to Div 2. You might have won the early game, but the mid game is all ours. Dilly-dally, getting chunked out, getting annihilated here on the far end. Quick chase going up further. Jeff God Gamer slowing down because of that volley, and a quick snipe from Area as you get even more as the kills and picks continue. However, in comes the cleanup crew from Evil Solo Q, Victim, and Bacon Slips to give Club Blue a little bit of a leg up in the kill department.
It's a 3 for 3 at the end of the day, off a beautiful charge down from Dalhousie. And for UF Blue, it's what they're getting and how they're getting it. Or bro, a 3 for 3 on paper, that's just an even trade. That's not ideal. But when you add all the turrets they took off the back end of it, that's 2 inner turrets they took while a dragon was being taken. Evil Solo Q, while that 1v2 happened bot side on Bacon Lips, Evil Solo Q Victim was actually just taking dragon. So UF Blue was down a man while all that action was happening, and then they come back in, then they equalize everything, and that's how they're blowing this lead wide open. And oh, bro, it's what, 3.5 minutes till Soul comes through, a Hextech Soul for this UF Blue squad, who's already showing that they can 1v2 in most of these scenarios. Yeah, Dalhousie doesn't even get the option to run at that point.
No, I mean, you might be slowed in your tracks, but I'm also looking at Evil Solo Q Victim, who we mentioned really didn't get online in the early game. Now is sitting on a 17-stack Magi, 6-1 and 6, been nearly untouched in that region. I wish I had noticed that earlier, but I mean, I gotta give credit where credit is due, right? For Club Blue, they say they deserve to be here. They're currently 2-1 in their standings, and they're trying to make it 3-1. Well done to them here in this mid-game kind of turnover region, bringing this game back under their control as they look to kind of clean up the battlefield.
Area.
Okay. On the side, Area getting caught out here, drawn back, and I don't think that's where you want to be. Quick slam, last auto, Bacon slips, catches the Ari Lakin, and gets that kill. Tax having the exact same glacial fissure is going to be used. There's no chance. Ace of the hole follows through on the back end of the shield. The wall cannot protect what you do not stand behind, and T now running for their life as well. In comes Bela Lugosi, but it's only to stop them for a moment. It is poor Hyena Wolf who is fed to the wolves themselves. University of Florida Club Blue taking a charge of this game here at 27 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like they might just push in it to end it. It's actually early enough in the game that the respawn timers aren't that long, but they're just going to go right in.
Oh, and they just melt through the tanks as well. Quick execution from the Eclipse as the sun does not shine on this game. Club Blue looking mighty and well in charge, taking this game in 27.5 minutes.
Oh, bro, we look at those respawn timers and we go, oh, that's how long before they can start defending the base again. UF Blue takes a look at those timers and goes, oh, that's how long before we can farm more kills again. And but justifiably so, great finish from the Bacon Lips on this Aatrox, man. Those Infernal Chains were money towards the end there. In the beginning, in the laning phase, we saw it miss quite a few times on Hyena Wolf.
Yes.
But especially that catch onto Area. Area was the big carry for Dalhousie. And you know, Dalhousie Black knew it. They told us to watch, keep an eye out for him. 100%, completely right. But when he gets picked, what happens then? Who steps up for Dalhousie Black? And that, I think, is where they kind of had issues. They had a good early game, but they weren't able to accelerate the game hard enough. I feel like somebody else needs to step up. Look, Tax and T, Ash Brom, really solid bot lane. I think they did a good job in the laning phase. They set up Bela Lugosi really, really well. But if you're telling me they're the heart and soul of the team, Orbital, I want to see you put T or Tax on a carry. That bot lane, I want to see them set up to pop off.
I think they can do so, and I 100% agree with you. Big props to Hyena Wolf also having a very solid early game. I gotta give him credit for being able to turn over, but again, when you're given the opportunities, we need to see it roll a lot harder in there. So I know you mentioned Taxon T, maybe even Hyena Wolf coming into game 2 might be that star, but it's still a lot of question marks that need a lot of answers. For Club Blue, though, they're kicking butt and they're taking names. Maybe shore up the early game and maybe get to that mid game a little bit better standings. We'll see what they can do, though, heading into game number 2 as we go to a short break in NECC League of Legends. We'll be back in just a bit. Game 1 in the books, and now going to game number 2. Dalhousie had some surprises, whether gifted to them or taken on their own. But still, for University of Florida Club Blue, they came out swinging, saying, we have the experience, we have the understanding, and they knew how to take home that victory. 27.5 minutes, ain't no slouches.
Yeah, not gonna lie, UF Blue had me in the first half. I was really worried about how the laning was going for them.
Very specifically Bacon. Bacon had us in the first half there and then decided to pop off.
I mean, Loki, Doey Dowie as well. Like, had some struggles in the bot side. They were getting dove on repeat, but partially because of Bacon's lips and Evil Solo Q Victim actually living up to his name a little bit there. Was struggling. Well, all his lanes were falling apart, and he's like, bro, I already got my Raptors taken away. I just need time to farm up, and the lanes are just like, nah, worry about it because we're all dying. But no, UF Blue, once they kind of warmed up a little bit, they definitely took over the reins and they look really, really good. I see their confidence now really starting to shine through. Their individual mechanics kind of brute force some of those mid fights. And once they got the lead, they knew how to close out. Dalhousie University Black, though, I feel like we've got to go back to them because game 1 was a bit of a crushing defeat for them. But they are not a weak team by any means. They are currently 1-1. They beat Bobby, I believe, was the team that they have to win from, and then they lost to Winthrop. Which, I mean, Winthrop is another incredibly strong team. That school has its own legacy and everything. So, yeah, Dalhousie University Black as a team, I think they just got caught a little bit off guard. When the early game goes that well for you, you're not expecting to just get run over. And when they did, it was like 1-2 fights, and the game was kind of over. So going into game 2, like I said, I want to see somebody from Dalhousie besides Area step up as a hero. Area is good, but UF Blue already have an answer. They're just going to pick things like Mel for Jeff Godgamer, things that can just nullify that lane. You don't have to win. You just have to be useful and be able to block Area's full potential in later team fights.
And I really like how you posited the fact of Tax and T in the bot side. I think Tax had some of the more enjoyable random moments with the random arrows kind of crossing midfield and all that. But the fact that you feel okay to do that, I don't know if that's a team call or not. But whenever I play Ashe, I do try and hold that ult. Like, it's very me equipment, but you sit there and you're like, hey, we're going to cross map it, and we're still holding on to a lot of those fights. I do agree, Tax and T time. But I also want to pause. Bela Lugosi actually had a lot of power on that Volibear, and we only saw it towards maybe 3 or 4 fights into that mid game, and at that point it was more just taking the scraps at the end. Did early ganks here and there. I almost wonder if you just put Bela Lugosi into a much larger carry role as well, can you carry from that jungle role very specifically, or is it more of these almost set up to kill instead of, or set up for the team?
Well, to me, I don't know how much more you can ask from either Area or Bela Lugosi, because I did feel like the Volbear did have its carry moments. Like, I remember that sort of fight where things started to turn against them a little bit, where he kind of used the Sky Splitter to get into that back, or not Sky Splitter, the Thunderlord's Fury, to get into the back line and almost pop Jeff Godgamer and Moonking. If he had done so, fight would have been won in his favor. But what are you going to do when the enemy AD carrier is flush? Like, there's literally nothing more you could ask of him in that game. So I think, the veteran jungler for this Dalhousie University Black team, he did his job. He did well. The only thing more you could ask is don't ban Hecarim and let him play his OTP. If he gets it, I think he'll carry the game. But if not, I think, given what we saw, he did great. Area did great. And that's why I'm kind of looking at Tax and T. Hyena Wolf as well. He had the carry champion on Mbessa. He won his lane early, or got those kills to kind of keep himself ahead in the early game. So because of that, I'm almost thinking, okay, knowing that Hyena Wolf is such a good weak side player, why don't we just give him a weak side champion so that we can spend the resources into the bot side, so that Bela Lugosi can sit on that bot lane a little bit more. We already saw Area and Bela Lugosi go down there, but imagine if they can do that and they don't have to worry about Hyena Wolf falling behind. Like things like Ornn, like Dr. Mundo, like Sion, champions who kind of don't care what happens. We will skill up and be a huge late game source of annoyance, which Mbessa can't do. Mbessa needs to be ahead to really hit her full potential.
Yeah, and when we say ahead, we mean ahead, not just getting the opportunity to step ahead, because we do have to give credit. You mentioned it before. These were kills that were kind of gifted over a little bit. These are a lot of kills that for Club Blue, they made unorthodox mistakes at the end. And you can for sure know that for Club Blue, they're not going to be trying to make those same mistakes. We're not going to be diving, giving first blood over. We're not going to be making a lot of these. And if you take out those mistakes, dude, Bacon Slips was up by like 40 CS at one point. I gotta agree with you. Looking at the top side, maybe give a bit of a weak side chance. Looking into game 2, though, we do have the side of Dalhousie over there on the red side. It looks like they are hoping for a counter pick opportunity with Club Blue on the blue. This time easier for us to remember. And the Aphelios still banned away, so rounding out on the same bans like we saw before.
And a lot of times with Fearless, we often see most of the bans recycled anyway. So I'm expecting to see the Hecarim ban continue to come through. And as to the Jax, that's the little bit of a question mark, whether we do see the Jax ban. And if it is a Jax ban, one thing we didn't note on last game was the Jax is most likely actually a Bela Lugosi ban more than a Hyena Wolf ban. So they're trying to remove the potential carries as well from the hands of Bela Lugosi. And we already saw what he was able to do with that Volibear. I think he might just fall back to the Mundo that they've often picked. And if they do go for Mundo, I don't know if I want to see another tank then from Hyena Wolf at that point. Because if you have double tank, then like Tax needs to be on a hyper carry, something like a Jinx, a Sivir, a Yunara. And I actually don't know if he plays Yunara.
Yeah, let's not springboard to some of those crazier champions just yet. Let's give them time to actually build out what they want to play so far. A Jax ban, though, a little bit surprising. I believe this was traded out from before, and I think those are some of the almost second round bans that are coming to leak in here because the Nefiri surprises me a bit there. I'm interested to see where this goes. A little bit of a shakeup down towards those third bans, opening up a lot of space for these first and second picks. There's the Corki to line up for Club Blue, a very solid pick for them.
Yeah, potentially a very lane oppressive pick. We see Corki, being something that can actually trade into the likes of Lucian, which automatically raises his strength in laning. And the late game damage from Corki is huge. Usually you kind of play around Corki by outranging him, if possible. That is not a champion that's outranging Corki. That is Xayah. She's really, really safe, generally speaking. You play around the Featherstorm a lot, especially around big ultimates. But she's not, at least in the current meta, something that we see picked that early on, largely because she's more of a counter pick into things. Zahen, that's something Hyena Wolf has been spamming in solo queues, so they still want to give Hyena Wolf something he can carry on.
Yeah, but also blind picking is a little bit of a surprise in my opinion. We were talking about Hyena Wolf, like maybe use this time to get a counter pick, play weak sides. Zahen doesn't feel like a weak side champion. It feels like a very hungry, resource-based champion where you do need to have a little bit of influence in there. For Club Blue, you're just going to go straight up, almost disengage, knock you back, keep you away from the fights. Or Rek'Sai is a great way to stop that momentum, stop the auto attacks. Poppy stops the leap in, except for the ultimate from Zahen. These are great champions utilized to keep the Corki safe. There's the Mundo, though, so all of a sudden that Mundo may be put into Hyena's hands here.
Yeah, my concerns, I don't think that's a Hyena pick, the Mundo. I think the Zahen is more the Hyena pick. That's something like we mentioned he's playing in solo queue. And Bela Lugosi is the one who plays Mundo a lot of times with these compositions. So that's kind of how they balance things out. With the Rek'Sai, we've been seeing, I think, more top lane Rek'Sai than we've seen jungle Rek'Sai. And I kind of like Rek'Sai into Zahen as well because of the sort of trading patterns you have and the ability to punish Zahen really early before he starts to get rolling. And if you can shut down that Zahen, the concerns that we had last game where it's like, okay, then where's the damage coming from Dalhousie University? Maybe it's coming from the mid lane, and we'll have to see what area is going to pick. Area this time is saving potential conflict. I'm expecting for it to be Area as R5. And get that last pick to kind of crush that mid lane. But whatever the counter pick is, it also needs to be something that can either very quickly snowball the game or it needs to be a hyper carry of some sort. That's why we're seeing, the Rise being taken out right from the get-go. Yep. That's a hyper carry. The Lissandra, I think, is a bit more of a targeted ban to come through. But frankly, I'm not fearing the Lissandra as much in terms of being able to snowball or carry again.
Ooh, well, as you said, it is a little bit of focus on that mid lane, which is why they're saving it. The Seraphine that was banned out in game number 1, though, kind of rearing its head. So a lot safer in that position, which I don't know if Tax and T were really going to enjoy. This kind of shows that they're playing safe. And then they break out some fire. And this is throwing us for a little bit of a loop. Is this a Rek'Sai jungle with a Poppy support and then a Darius top? Or is that Darius jungle? Because Darius jungle did just get a buff recently in the jungle role with a Wei. Okay, so Club Blue going for a little bit out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, I personally would much more prefer the Darius top. It is Bacon Lip's most played champion. This split at any rate, and I think potentially just on his account, most played champion. So I almost feel like that Darius has to go top, especially into Zahen. You can really punish that Zahen early on, and you're going to force the Mundo to go up there. Mundo is not a great early jungler in terms of ganking either, in terms of the 2v2. So especially when you hit level 6, Darius is going to be really, really strong up there. So yeah, I think that's probably Rek'Sai jungle. Poppy support. That one caught me off guard. I was expecting more like a Blitz or a Pike to punish the Xayah Seraphine bot lane, but that's apparently not an option. And also,
no.
Now
we got to change it up
through.
too. Yeah, so Ornn is probably going top now. What you were talking about before with the Mundo jungle and the Zehen blind pick mid, which I don't know if they shifted at the last second and said, hey, the Zehen's actually a flex or not. But that's kind of where we're set at right now, right? Like, you grabbed Ornn after seeing the Hui. You're putting Zehen into a Hui matchup. This Zehen ain't getting that revive passive in a while, dude. Like, I'm so sorry. If you're auto-attacking a Hui, I don't know what went wrong in that mid lane.
Yeah, like Hui is just gonna try and space as much as he can, slow you down, speed yourself up, throw out the fear, just not engage with you at all. But yeah, I think the Zehen idea on paper, if you can flex it between mid and top, I think is a good idea. Area has played it. I don't know if he's played it mid or top lane, but it's shown in terms of champions he has been playing in solo queues. So yeah, I like the idea of it. But you're right, the Hui just kind of messed it up, and I don't know if UF Blue did good research, recognized that was a potential flex pick, and so they needed to pick something that could run into it in both the lanes, or whether they just so happened to hit upon Hui. But we'll kind of see how that goes and whether or not Jeff Godgamer can space out carefully. We did, remember, see Jeff Godgamer die once or twice in lane as well. The first death especially was a little bit, I think, overconfidence, just not respecting what could come through. Yeah. If he does the same, there is a world in which Area can snowball that Zehen. But barring that, I am a little bit concerned that I am not seeing a good lane for Dalhousie Black to play through. Yeah. If they lose the lane orbital, given what we saw last game, the mid game might just become a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I also don't like the fact that they don't have a true engage, right? You're looking down the lines here, and maybe you have a Grim Deliverance on top of your opponent, but the Ornn Horn is one, but then you just kind of rush at them, right? Like, I like seeing engage. I personally like seeing Nautilus. I love seeing Alistar. I love seeing these flyby-ins. I don't see that. I see rush forward. I don't disagree with it. I understand you can run down an opponent. I don't like that that's what feels like your only option. Now, you land a fantastic Encore. If you land that, that Seraphine ultimate, you can get forward. But this does feel like a very soak-heavy composition for the side of Dalhousie. If it works, though, it works like a charm and you go into game 3. If not, though, for UF Club Blue, you're looking at a solid third series to add to your win record so far.
What do you mean they don't have engage, Orbital? They have Mundo. Mundo runs it, dude. That's engage, right?
No, Mundo does not go where he pleases in this situation. At least I don't see that happening. Of course, he is looking for big stonks at the very end. Corporate Mundo.
Okay, Loki though, he actually can be the engage with Encore. If he rides the Encore wave, he can actually propagate it as an engage factor.
Okay.
If that happens, I'm going to laugh very, very hard, though. It is very tricky to kind of make that work. But it exists. I think that the more pertinent point, actually, is the fact that UF Blue needs to engage. We talk about the fact that, there's not a lot of engage from Dalhousie. They can kind of just wait for UF Blue to engage into them. Yes, there's poke with Hui. Yes, there's poke with Corki. But that's what the Seraphine is for. Between healing and shielding, she negates a lot of that poke. So if you're looking to just poke them out with that and never engage, that's going to be a very, very long face-off, perhaps long enough even for the Ornn Horn to come back up multiple times. So at some point, UF Blue has to look for the engage, and that's when T comes in with the Encore. That's when you're looking for Seraphine to look for counter-engage along with Xayah, and that's why I think this bot lane kind of works into the likes of the Rek'Sai and the Darius.
You know what? I was going to give him credit for that, but I was also like, I do want to see engage somewhere for Dalhousie. Yes, they are they do have a very nice counter if they so wish. Either way, we're into the laning phase here, and we can already see some pings going out with the Lava Plume going out on Area's HP bars. You can see that for Bela Lugosi, playing from the top side to bot side is very, very different from what Evil Solo Queue Victim is trying to do. Full clear versus full clear, but the Rek'Sai is taking a little bit longer on that space.
Yeah, and I do think that for Evil Solo Q Victim, there is potential for dive in the top side. And that's kind of why you're going for that top side. Bot side's a little bit tougher, especially into a Seraphine. Even though Xayah pre-6 is not the undiveable monster that she is later on with Featherstorm, the Seraphine certainly complicates matters a lot. And with Heal Barrier, Evil Solo Q Victim doesn't want to kind of troll the early game, like what happened last game. So top side's much safer sort of target for him to look at. Whereas Bela Lugosi's just probably looking for full clear as much as possible. With the Mundo, early on, again, we talked about it. He's not the best ganker. He really wants to just kind of hit that late game stage where he's the unkillable tank. And that's, what he's kind of going for. And that's why he's just looking for full clears. Any ganks would be more opportunistic or potentially just more calls from his lanes rather than preset pieces.
We'll see if that does pan out in their favor, if they can get some presets, or if not, it's just farm up till you get all your favorite items. Bela Lugosi, though, rounding into this mid lane, maybe giving a little bit of space for Area if they can find that mark. but not much made from it. So instead, you're just going to recall after the full clear, get ready for your topside camp, repeat the same process. Let's hit level 6 off the further sites. Bacon slips on the top side, though, really pushing in Hyena Wolves. And in the mid lane area, getting dove, like you mentioned, RMC.
Ooh.
Flash is forced, though, and area gets to live.
Low-key, I feel like this is kind of the same problem we saw last game a little bit, where Evil Solo Q on that first gank is almost a little bit early. Like, from the jungler's perspective, I get it, but Jeff God Gamer also just used some of his spells, so he didn't have the cooldown to follow up on that. So flash for flash traded. Evil Solo Q victim needs to go for the regank. And the reason why I kind of said this reminds me of last game was the topside dive, where, well, I guess it was Bacon Lips pulled the trigger too early on last game, where Bacon Lips ended up drawing aggro because Evil Solo Q victim didn't. It does speak to, I think, a little bit of disconnect between the jungler, between the Evil Solo Q victim and his lanes. Nothing critical, at least. Last game they still won, and this one's not going to cost them too much, but something I'm sure that they can look to maybe polish up a little bit.
Of course, you know, give yourself a little bit more timing-wise, make sure that you're really in tune with each other. And this time, as you said, you didn't die. Instead, you got that flash. Bot side, though, quick jump in, forcing a flash out of Tax after burying that ignite, forcing the heal out of T as well. So Tax getting that first punishment out of Dilly Dally, who couldn't get the pinch against the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too, because I feel like T suspected they were in that bush. Like, he was getting positioned to poke and delay, and Dilly Dally just, I see the angle, I see a wall, I see you, and I see a straight line. So able to punch in, really well played from Dilly Dally and Mooncake to be able to do that. It does delay their back a little bit, but hey, that's fine, right? They're still going to be able to get the back off. They're still going to have that side advantage in that bot lane. Top side, Bacon Lips putting down the hurt, and critical to note, top laners are almost level 6. That's when I expect to see Bacon Lips pop that ghost, run down that horn, and seek solo first blood.
That's why I'm actually really curious about the junglers actually finding their marks in different areas mid lane. So it's going to be transition 2. This time, Jeff God Gamer does have some of the abilities up. Mundo has the immunity, CC controlled immunity, denies any sort of follow through CC chain. You're going to be safe for the time being, Bella Lugosi, though. Saying, okay, Evil Solo Q victim, I know where you're at. Okay.
And for Dalhousie Black, I think they're just kind of stalling out, as we talked about, the scaling from Bela Lugosi, but not just him. We've got the ornaments as well. He's looking for late game. Area, I think, doing a fantastic job in the mid lane, actually, so far. As a melee into range in what we kind of thought was going to be a really tough matchup, he's actually out farming Jeff God Gamer a little bit. He's still putting the pressure in. And more importantly, he's got the call. So he's kind of going from mid to late. Dalhousie Black as a whole are not falling behind significantly. Yes, they'll give this objective up. Yes, they're probably going to give the grubs as well. But if you can keep gold even and just play into the mid-late scaling, which is when you start to come online, that's the big win con for them.
It looks like it might continue onwards here as Hyena Wolf waited a long time for Bela Lugosi to get there, but a flash in, tries to turn around for Bacon, slips. That is a flash, ghost, use, and nothing of it. Good first blood to Hyena Wolf.
Good attempt from Bacon Lips. You could see the idea there. If he could dodge a knockup, maybe he could turn the 1-for-1. But as you said, he ultimately burns both summoners. So that's a lot of kill threat down onto Hyena Wolf. So Hyena Wolf going to be able to soak this wave. Even better, there's no TP to punish. T, good flash.
Such a good timing. Recognize that something was up. And as you said, it feels like T has really good tracking on where Dilly Dally is, as well as Mooncake, whether from the brushes or not. I like the fact that you're able to flash away and not get pinched, and also keep that HP bar very, very full.
Yeah, and every time, like, that's just time being spent from UF Blue into his bot lane trying to make things happen. T has the better sustain of it, so they're going to be okay. Teleport to a Rek'Sai.
Dude,
that brings me back to the old Rek'Sai ultimates, the farm alarms.
It was, but it's also like, I forgot how slow the TP looks nowadays. Like, that one. It's a very, I feel like at the time you'd be faster running there. It just looks really, really slow to me. I've never seen it track like that. I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah, no, it looks slow. It's still faster than running. That I can attest to. I can guarantee. Area?
Okay. Area gets some damage, but eats a lot more on return. Melee minion +3 ranged. It can do a lot of damage if you're not careful. Either way, for Jeff God Gamer, you're right back in lane, and even though you're behind a little bit in CS, you're still getting some gold to your own name. Nice grab, but that's gonna call for the Grim Deliverance. Flash away, and that might be the call down.
Flash for Area.
Great ult coming out as the Despair will rend your soul, and Jeff God Gamer picks up that kill.
Level 16 mastery flash from Jeff God Gamer there. No, really good punish, and dodging out the initial engage from Area. Area didn't have the flash up, so they're able to really punish this Zahen, which otherwise has been kind of getting a free lane. He's been doing so incredibly well. Topside, the execute, the bleed.
That's it.
It's enough.
That's it. GG, cut the tape. Bacon Lips back on top in the top lane.
I think that was what Bacon Lips wanted to do at level 6, if not
Yeah.
for Bella Lugosi having such a good timer. Just roaming up, making sure that you're able to punish. And UF Blue, although again, after what feels like a bit of a slower early game, slower laning phase, is starting to pop off much earlier this time. Dowie dodging out.
Nice knock up to slow everyone down. Damashi and Justice can do work, but Mooncake forcing the heal out of T. Rest of the team coming down to help out, though. Bella Lugosi wants their first true gank of the game. Encore is going to land. Briefcase to the back of the head, and that's Dilly Dally to go on down. And it's a reinventation of this gank mechanic, as Bella Lugosi is not going to press out this lane option, but still very minute gold lead for Dalhousie right now.
Oh, really? You know how we said like Jeff God Gamer kind of did respect Area a little bit last game?
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not just him. The whole team, like Mooncake and Dilly Dally, opted to stay into that fight way longer than they otherwise might have. They don't have vision. Look at the ward control on this bot side. There's no blue vision at all for UF Blue. And that ultimately ends up punishing them. Hyena, Wolf, though, unstoppable. Buying time, is able to dodge the knockup. Is damage enough for dive?
Right
no execution.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be okay for Hyena Wolf, at least on this turn. Mid lane, though, we're seeing a difference now, as the junglers are really getting into this. Grim delivers once more, but at first coming out of the Undying Despair, Spiraling Despair ain't going to be enough, as Bella Lugosi helps clear that mid lane.
Bella Lugosi! Okay, I think he was clearing a tunnel, but for a second it looked like he was just like spamming taunt.
I forgot, I think you
he was
dance on
clearing
top
a
of the
tunnel.
tunnels, right? Like you dance or something.
Good gag though from Bella Lugosi, making his presence felt once again. I had some concerns with the Mundo compared to the Volbear he had last game, because Volbear has a lot more damage, right? And you're able to burst down force ganks a lot easier. With the Mundo, it's a lot tougher, but he's definitely making his impact felt massively just by walking around, and part of that's coming from UF Blue, not necessarily tracking. We talked about the lack of vision on the bot side of the map. Yeah, that came back to bite Jeff God Gamer as well, because they didn't see Bella Lugosi walking up. They knew he was going to be there, but without the vision, I guess, without the object permanence, Jeff God Gamer just opted to kind of go for the heavier trades, looking to try and punish Area, and got his hand bitten off for it.
And it's a much needed source as well for Dalhousie. We mentioned before that Club Blue, they're not going to be giving as many kills over. We're not going to see these same mistakes granted from game number 1. And it hasn't happened, to Club Blue's credit. They haven't been giving over, 3-4 kills in the top side. Hasn't been a gift in the bot side or anything. It's been much more clinical. And yet Dalhousie, I think, have risen to the occasion of this early game. They're once again back in a lead, at least 400. It's not immense or anything, but it is a lead. Our question once again becomes, will they be able to transition this type of lead into any mid-game permanence where Club Blue really shined?
Yeah, and it's interesting too when you look at the CS numbers. The fact that UF Blue's top and bot lane have such big CS leads, you kind of wonder, okay, where's this gold coming from a little bit? And it's coming from the plates. Dalhousie Black has been able to actually pressure up and take a lot of these plates, and that's what's keeping the gold kind of as even as even in the mid lane. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought Area would be a little bit further ahead, given that he's got the call. But the plates that we did see Jeff God Gamer get is actually equalizing things. So yeah, it's dead even. And for Dalhousie, it's almost counterintuitive from what we saw in game 1, where in game 1 they were up ahead significantly in kills, but just behind in gold. Have they caught Dilly Dally? No unbreakable here.
Yeah, but it's drawing eyes away from this dragon, but Evil Solo Queue Victim does not want to take that chance. Really nice pick by Dalhousie. As they're expanding out from the laning phase, we hit that 12-minute mark. Quests are being completed. Might as well look for the dragon themselves. Quick buff to the damage output, 80 and AP secure.
Yeah, and for Dalhousie, this is, again, the opposite of what we saw last game, right? And this time they're actually able to secure these early objectives. They're rotating a little bit better. They're not falling behind, and I think they're almost out of sort of the danger zone for themselves. They're soon to be hitting that one-item power spike, where we're going to see Area have a little bit more impact into this game. We're going to see Bella Lugosi as well, already starting to stack the Immortal, what's that item called? The Heart of Steel? No.
Heartsteel? Yeah, that's
Heartsteel,
right.
there we go.
Heartsteel. Well, you know what's also being stacked is the HP bar T, who gets a great encore up, but that's a flash forward. Good heal to come out. T is alive, which means Tax gets to give them the money shot. The IRS wants his money, baby. Tax is here, flashes forward as well. No pitch against the wall. In goes the Featherstorm, baby. T and Tax popping off.
Forget the one-item power spike. Tax from nowhere. Just punishing Dilly Dally and Mooncake for overstepping, stepping up, and Dilly Dally was looking for that aggression. Oh, wow. Was that
all that
100%?
hype? All the hype has been deflated. Poor Orange
I feel like we should hype up the dunk more. Like, Bacon Lips dunk is huge.
He already did it once, though. He already did it once before, and like, Tax and T, we haven't seen that outplay in a while down there.
Yeah, that bot lane was more hype, exactly as you called it, because it was rarer. But that topside, that's an Ornn, and he went from like the Noxian Guillotine hit at half health, and the bleed wasn't able to finish him off. I am terrified for just all of Dalhousie the moment Bacon Lips is unleashed. I'm getting flashbacks to last game where we're like, everything's fine, everything's okay, and then Bacon Lips left lane, and everything was not okay.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's gonna happen again, especially with the fact that 4 attacks, you're like, I only got a Seraphine. One of us is dying. Like, that's gonna be the calling card. One of us is dying here. Bella Lugosi about to walk into enemy territory as Dilly Dally wants to get a little bit messy. Nice steadfast presence, but the full out area saying stay in range. T in range as well to give a little bit of punch, but Dilly Dally ain't getting away. No flash available, so you'll just sacrifice your life. And it's once again a little bit of extra gold handed back to Dalhousie Black.
No keeper's verdict available. It came off food on just as Dilly Dally died. So, unfortunately, court was not adjourned. Dilly Dally was judged and punished. Evil solo queue victim now in the bush. He's not winning this 1v1. He needs backup. Oh, Bacon Lips is here.
That's the biggest backup I've ever seen, by the way. That is like the most terrifying backup I've ever seen in my life. It's not even backup. It's the guaranteed golden plate kill. Bacon Lips on their third.
And that's a SWAT team show now. That is any sort of backup. Like, that's the actual finisher. Bacon Lips is running in as well. Worth noting, of course, that he has done his course completion. He has teleport available, but he just kind of ran in, and you saw that area didn't even bother flashing. There's no point. You're not getting away from that. You're getting punished. And now bot side outer turret is just going to be taken down. I'm curious to see how they answer the split push from Bacon Lips. Like, is there a world in which Bella Lugosi and maybe Tax can do something about this? I am not confident about that.
I think if they do, it'll be an answer that we were waiting for from previous game as well. We mentioned that Dalhousie, they had a lead before, and then they just kind of petered out towards that mid game because they weren't sure how to deal, because it's the same situation, right? That split push from Bacon Lips on that Aatrox was powerful. It might happen again here as Tax is getting jumped on here, does have the Feather Storm, but getting bursted out way too heavily, able to pull it off at about half HP. Area, though, is saying, I want a little bit more fight, draws him in with the Grim Deliverance, quick spike onto the HP bar, and Jeff God Gamer. Evil Solo Queue Victim in the back line might be doing work, but it's a split battle. The area is not going to win. Evil Solo Queue Victim able to stab one. Looks for a second with the Ornhorn from behind, but that's the resurrection for this side of area. Quick kill once more as Evil Solo Queue Victim is able to scatter out to safety, but a final hook will knock them up. An area will finish them off. A price paid in blood on either side of the battlefield.
And my question is, where's the Bacon signal? That fight, Orbital, ran a long time. The fact that Area was able to actually revive the double tanks of Hyena Wolf and Bella Lugosi, drag things out, ultimately finding Evil Solo Queue Victim on the back end of it. There was more than enough time for Bacon Lips to actually TP in, but I guess at some point the call was just like, oh, the fight's over, don't bother. And they never actually called for the SWAT team. And because of that, Dalhousie winning out, getting that advantage they were looking for. They don't have an answer to Bacon Lips, but they seem to have an answer for everyone else.
Yeah, you know why? It's because SWAT teams are never about the scrums. They're never about the big scrambles. They're about precision. They're about taking out one person. That's what they're hoping for. 1 against 3, maybe not the one that you wanted. But Bacon Lips is about to try it. They got into a firefight that they're not too happy about, and they're going to try their best to hold it down. However, the absolute defense from Dalhousie is able to snap up one more, giving Bella Lugosi their third of this game.
So Orbital, by that logic, if SWAT teams single target takedown, the SWAT team got swatted?
You know what? In this day and age, I'd believe it. I don't know, quite honestly, because Bacon Lips, that did feel a little bit bad.
Hey man, whatever it takes, right? That is a good takedown from Dalhousie. We were just saying, who answers the split push? That was the big threat that was coming through, and if they have to send 3 people to do it, so be it. It's early enough in the game that's not the end of the world, and if you're trading Dragon for Herald, honestly, I'd actually kind of take that trade. Herald is temporary. It's going to get you that turret, but those turrets are probably going to go down anyhow. But Dragon, That's permanent. Area now facing a 1v1. Nope, it's not a 1v1. Bella Lugosi was still in the area.
Oh, but here's the problem, is Area is about to get snapped up instead, and there's going to be the execution. Bella Lugosi has to run. You might not be able to 1v3, but 1v1 all day long, baby. Bacon Lips still showing that strength.
I was more worried for T coming around the back than I was for Bella Lugosi. Like, I was like, oh, that's a Mundo. The one he flashed, like, Bella Lugosi safe. But T, able to escape. We didn't see Jeff God Gamer finding any sort of catch. There's, of course, the punish. We talked about how the Herald was going to be very useful for breaking at least one turret. If it gets two, that becomes a problem. Okay, it's going to get damage on the second turret, but not a full takedown. How does he avoid the worst case scenario? The stacking is still fine. The stacking is still good. And yeah, they're still in it to win it.
They are, but once again, the question remains, how do you deal with Bacon Lips? Last time it was a call of 3, but we are starting to recognize that Club Blue are consistently saying, if you're going to send 3, we're going to take something else on the map. And that kind of trade-off is something that you can't do all the time when you're starting to lose towers, when you're starting to lose major objectives. I mean, in a minute, we're about to get Baron, and we saw Club Blue rip that Baron at 22 minutes, saying, if you're going to give us a kill and an opportunity, we'll take it all day long.
Yeah, and not dissimilarly from last game, there is a lot of damage on UF Blue's side, so they can burst the Baron down. Part of that damage, though, is on Bacon Lips, so as long as you see Bacon Lips on the bot side, I do think you can afford to just send Hyena Wolf Area, and last time they used Bella Lugosi, could probably do the same thing again, or T, if necessary, as long as T doesn't get actually caught out by Bacon Lips there. I think that trio should be enough to convert on that kill, and then you've got double teleports from Hyena and Wolf to actually cover on the Baron. A 4v4 on that top side would be just fine to be able to force UF Blue out.
Let's take stock of where we're at right now. We've been looking so far into some of these futures that the current stock of the map is fairly bare. You can see a massive board collection from Club Blue over by the Baron pit. A triangular setup with a couple pink boards. Bot side, though, fairly quiet. They are leaving Bacon Lips on their own, almost no vision except for where Bacon Lips wants it, and just say, we know you're going to be fine. Quite honestly, unless 3 come at you, that's the only worry. They are focused on this Baron side, covering their backside for possible TPs, and looking to stop this top side. But look at this, Bacon Lips once again in a 1v1. We'll take these all day long, and we know Hyena Wolf can't fight this top side. Area will get annihilated. Couldn't even get a plate off that top side tower. Oh, there's the bleed through for the 3rd time this game. Club Blue individually giving their team victories.
Yeah, and I kind of like the fact that Bacon Lips doesn't care about the reset on the Noxian Guillotine. He's just using it early and letting the bleed secure the kill, because he knows he doesn't need it anytime soon. The rest of the fight's happening elsewhere. I think the bigger problem was Area getting caught on that top side when Bella Lugosi was in the area. If Area goes down, that's what's giving UF Blue this freedom to now push not just on this top side, but kind of everywhere on the map and on the map, pardon me. And for T, you got to be careful. There's no flash, but he can ghost and run you down. I'm actually more cautious about the Noxian Guillotine ultimate, which is only halfway through Jeff God Gamer. Oh.
Well, you got a teammate here, but the massive hard steel procs on the back end do some work. Lee Dally able to save their mid laner. But these are 2 of the members that really haven't been too loud on the map. 1, 2, and 2 for Jeff God Gamer, and 1, 4, and 1 for Dilly Dally.
Jeff God Gamer just needs to not die. If he gets caught like Area does, that's how a game flips, potentially. So, good on him to survive by the skin of his teeth. I don't know, man. Jeff God Gamer, he's polarizing me over. I don't know how I feel about him. It's like, I don't want to say, like, on one hand, he's like kind of not respecting, you know, the position that he's often in, but on the other hand, he's getting out alive. So at that point, is it disrespect or is it just knowing your limits well enough?
It's knowing how fast your teammate can get to you. It's like, I have a lifeline, and I know how quick they're going to come to bail me out, so I'll take that like 9 times out of 10. I think that's more what we're looking at here. The true one of disrespect is Bacon Lips. Once again, pressuring on this top side of the map. Hyena Wolf knows they can't get that. This is a level 16 Darius, by the way. Constant resets on that ultimate. 3 items fully completed that you're destructed. This time around, it's Chef God Gamer that is getting bullied into oblivion. Encore going to whip and only hit Dilly Dally, which still enables King to get that damage. Area TP's in to try and get some revenge, but guess who's in the back line? It's Bacon Lip, who said hello, baby! Welcome to the Thunderdome. The guillotine will take your life. That is foregone in a flash as University of Florida Club Blue slam this lead home.
And to add insult to injury, Orbital, Bacon Lips did not TP to that fight. He's never TP to a fight. He ghosted in.
I hate that
He
fight. I thought it was a
wrapped
TP with how quick he got there. I hate that he didn't TP.
So did I, but I'm looking at his TP and it's not on cooldown. He was so deep in Dalhousie's side of the map that he just ghosted in from behind, wrapped around, and wrecked them. And for Dalhousie Black, you know, huge props. That was a fantastic engage. The concerns we had about Jeff Godgamer's positioning was punished. Finally, Bella Lugosi's actually able to get there. Dewey Dally this time is not able to get the save, but it's all salvaged by the fact that Bacon Lips is Thanos. And he's just absolutely unstoppable. Nobody can answer him. 3 people to stop him. That's what it took last time. They did not have a 2-man advantage. They were not able to convert. And now, UF Blue on this Baron Dalhousie. It's Black. They've got to try and find their own way in. Bella Lugosi has Flash, has Smite, has to look for the steal.
He's also 5-1-4, so he's got some damage to boot, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Quick chase off of this Baron, though. And I kind of respect it. For Club Blue, they recognize that they had some mistakes back in game number 1 in the early game. Overconfidence can lead to game-changing moments. Pull off the Baron, go back to wave clear, and keep playing this vision, trying to clear out, force Dalhousie back further and further from the Baron line.
And for you, okay, that last one, that's
it doesn't
fine.
matter. Bacon Lips is like, dude, I'll play on the opposite side of the map or my side of the map. It doesn't matter which side I'll go to.
If there is one
don't
person
do that.
Bacon Lips has to be a little bit careful of, it is actually Bella Lugosi. Not in a 1v1 terms, but the fact that he can tank long enough for the rest of the team to actually get there. So a little bit scary for Bacon's Lips. But yes, UF Blue, they do need some sort of convincing, significant fight in order to really secure this. If not, Bella Lugosi is going to look to walk in his Lips. He's trying to zone.
I mean, that's a good slow as well.
Is it
There's
enough?
The axe
It's enough?
Oh, all day long. This is going to be Reset City, baby. Didn't even need the guillotine. You get knocked up on the back end. Hyena
Wow.
Wolf is going to try and hold their stuff, but Dilly Dally is there. Another apprehension. Flash away by Hyena Wolf. An area was nowhere close. Baron to University of Florida, Club Blue.
I'm sorry, Bacon's Lips. I thought I was familiar with your game. Not enough, apparently. I can't. I'm just shocked at how fast he melted to Bella Lugosi.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely thought Bella Lugosi was going to be able to buy more time, and you could see the idea of that, but he just melted way too quick. Teleport that came in from Hyena Wolf just was not in time. If that extra bit of CC was there, yeah, they can take him down. But yeah, it just wasn't. He goes down, Tax goes down. Now Baron Buff in pocket with 2 inhibitors down as well. UF Blue, they can continue the 4-1 if they want. Again, who's answering Bacon Lips? But they can just brute force 5-man on the top side. They are tanky enough, strong enough, bursty enough to melt even the tanks of Dalhousie Black right now.
At this point, the tanks are just glorified stat checks. You know, it's the whack-a-hammer at the carnival. It's like, how hard can you hit this block? Apparently pretty hard. Can you knock the bell? Yes, every single time. Can you do the heavyweight? Yes, I can. It's Bacon Lips testing the limits of what they can get away with. 4 items deep right now. The entire team up in a lead, 6K for the squad. Dragons 2-2 doesn't feel like it matters, but having a little extra healing never hurt anyone. But this, we're getting back to that 27.5-minute mark. RMC, University of Florida, Club Blue, looking to end things.
And they're going to 4-1 as the bot side inhibitor did just respawn. Bacon Lips is going to be able to take that one. And then now is the sort of question I have. Is Bacon Lips going to look for the wraparound? Are they going to brute force a fight from behind? It's not normally a good idea to split your forces like that. But when Bacon Lips is like 4 levels up from the opponents, oh my goodness.
It's not even wraparound. It's literally on his own. He doesn't get the
turret
full heal
too.
off, though. The Q only lands on 2, so you are actually down. The wraparound did not work. The smaller end of the pincer did get whacked. So instead, it is University of Florida Club Blue looking to just push that last inhibitor. If they're able to do so, they leave Dalhousie Black's face in shambles, which would be just as good enough. Yes, you would have liked to end the game, but it might not happen here.
And Loki, sure, was it the best play? No, it wasn't. But I think it's kind of fine. He still traded 1-for-1. Hyena Wolf just getting slammed. Is tanky enough to survive
God,
that.
are they
Are
going
looking
for
for a further dive?
Oh my god, they're actually going for it. I wasn't expecting that considering, you know, I don't think Mooncake and Jeff God Gamer have the exact amount of punching power, but they get one in one Nexus Tower. They're looking for the second if the super minions can actually push on in. But the Baron buff might be wearing out here very shortly in about 20 seconds. They're going to wait. Oh my god, wait, Bacon Lips actually has TP. Are they just going to wait to TP him back in? No. Oh, poor Mooncake getting knocked up and almost killed on the back end. Flashes away from enemy side tower. There's the TP. RMC. Oh my god, they're going to do it. They baited out Hyena Wolf. They baited out Hyena Wolf. Hyena Wolf can't stay here. Oh, the poor top laner. This poor top laner is like, bro, what did I do to deserve this?
They spawned on the Rift Orbital. Welcome to a minion's life, Hyena Wolf. Our only crime was being there. Well, to be fair, Hyena Wolf as well, I mean, you were on the chase, and I was actually really concerned for UF Blue because Area had teleport as well. Area could have looked for a flank angle. Unfortunately, the ward was too far away now. Bacon Lips is back in. They're on the hunt for more.
And they're gonna find more as Area is right in the mix. Flash already. Grim Deliverance will only be your undoing. Guess what? The gods are here. God King Darius, if you will. It is University of Florida Club Blue to take this series home.
You know, Orbital, props to Dalhousie University Black, because when I spoke to them, they actually did identify that Darius is an issue. And they were right. It was an issue. Bacon Lips' Darius was absolutely disturbing in what it did. Like, that was just not okay. Somebody needs to check that computer for hacks. No, not really. The copy pasta applies. Yeah, UF Blue right now, they're confident, and you can see exactly why. They have the hands to back it up. Their early game, again, I'll reiterate, I don't think it was clean. I think it was kind of sloppy, to be honest. They probably know that. They just do not care, because no matter how sloppy it is, they've got the hands to be able to make up for it, and props to them for that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with you on that point. They came into this and we had a lot of question marks because we saw them lining them up. They had a little bit more cohesion in Div 2. We expected them to come out with a little bit of fire, and then they had some struggles. But this is the beginning of the season. We're in week 3. They went ahead, blazed a trail forward. They're now sitting at, I believe, a 2-1 or a 3-0 status to start their season off. They're looking pretty dang good. I give them credit for it. Are they going to clean up further into Div 2 is that big question at the end of the day. But RMC, looking over at Dalhousie, I think they slightly exceeded our expectations for some of this early game. We can see they have the heart to play in this division, but obviously they still have some growing pains in there. Where do you want to see most of that growth come from if we do see them down that road?
Well, first of all, I want to give props to Hyena Wolf, Gold 2 player going up against a Grandmaster, or a Master level player, pardon me, in the top lane. I think he's definitely shown way more than his rank would suggest, right? Like his game 1 where he's actually finding those kills and having pressure, that was huge. But unfortunately, even when you're doing good for a Gold 2, to be in Div 2, I think Hyena Wolf needs to kind of be protected a little bit. Now, granted, I don't think a lot of top laners are going to blow him out the way Bacon Lips did. I think that's a Bacon Lips issue, where he's just insanely good as a carry. But if you're up against carry top laners in Div 2, there's a chance that this happens again. And for Dalhousie University Black, either Hyena Wolf, it's hard to improve, so that takes some time. Or they need to get Bella Lugosi to be able to cover that top side a little bit better. I know it comes at the expense of getting area at tax. It's kind of snowballing, but you might need to know when to cover that top side a little bit. I also did like what we saw from Bella Lugosi and Area. I think that's a very solid core you can build around as a carry. Both of them, I think, had strong carry showings, especially Area. And Tax and T, I think, were solid as well. I really like the pressure they showed us in Game 2 in lane. What happened outside of lane, though, I think was what kind of bit them a little bit. And even then, you know, it's kind of hard to... Like, what can you say when that 10-1 Darius just comes out of nowhere with Ghost from behind, with Flash? Like, it's just a tough position for that bot lane.
It is. There's only one word, GG, go next. I think everyone played to what they could, and we do look forward to what Dalhousie, a squad that moved from Div 4 to Div 2, can show us in the future. But anyone else in the Div 2 region, you better be on the lookout. This squad in Div 2 Group East B is on the rise here. University of Florida Club Blue take victory on tonight's matchup, and it was an exciting one at the end. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned into the NECC side of things here tonight. We want to give a big shout out to our production side. We had Chippy as well as Shivam on the production, and then we had Ramen with all the glorious content on those socials. If you tuned in from that, we appreciate every single one of you. With that being said, there's more NECC on the line tomorrow as well, so make sure to tune in. Same time, same place, might be a different game. My name is I almost said RMC. That would have been funny. My name is Orville. With me is RMC. We have been your casters for this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.